I'm about to break down our entire method for generating unlimited leads for our business. This is going to go into the entire acquisition stream for cold SMS as the primary driver. I'm going to touch on cold email. I'm going to touch on Meta, but it's mainly going to be cold SMS, cold outbound, and how we scrape our leads. This is going to get in the nitty gritty, and this is going to be a YouTube video. You guys are here watching it live. So hopefully I can do a little bit cleaner than our entire business as a funnel. I'm going to try to take it a little bit slower. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy. So how we do our lead generation. Lead generation as a whole, everything starts at the data level. What that actually means is, where are you getting your data from? I'm going to focus heavily on the home service niche, the local niche, but this applies to B2B as far as white collar. It's just going to be a different data source. So what we're going to touch on here is Google Maps specifically. So you're going to have, and this is a pipeline as well. Everything that you'll notice in the business is a pipeline. So what you have here is your lead generation pipeline. The only thing we're going to touch on is, let's draw this a little bit bigger. Let's go into here. And the first level here is your data. It's your scrape. And what we have here is Google Maps as a primary driver that we love. This is really good. You have Apollo. You have LinkedIn, etc. Yes, thank you. So this is where everything begins. And this is where when I say upstream, this is where everything starts on the lead generation. Like, okay, you're like, how do I do cold outbound? So you have to get the data. And the data scrape, you can do this through Outscraper. You could do this through Appify, which is what I recommend if you're starting out. But this is the old way. And this sauce that I'm about to drop is gonna show you what exists. This is gonna open your eyes of like what actually exists in the universe. I'm not gonna go too deep into it. That's for, back of funnel content. But I'm gonna show you, which most people won't even show you, what exists out there. So, and then you have Claude Code. Now, this right here is our moat, because we got 1.6 million leads for $20. And I'm telling you this exists because you can create it yourself. I'm not going to gatekeep what exists out there. That's not what I have an interest in doing. If you want the implementation on this, then there are levels that we can go into. But this exists, and you technical guys watching right now, you can do this. And all you have to know is that it's possible. Apollo, LinkedIn, you're looking at stuff like Ample Leads is one where you can scrape Apollo for pretty cheap. They don't have an Apollo scraper on Appify anymore. They don't have that. So you can use Ample Leads, get an Apollo link, put that in there, and you can get the data. That's the easy part. So in your lead gen pipeline for cold outbound, we're gonna focus on cold outbound. It all starts here. So when you're using Appify, when you're using Outscraper, you're looking at all the Google business profiles that have maps data. You're going to search a query. So you're going to look at plumbers in service area. And that's going to go through all the Google business profiles. You can even use something like Instant Data Scraper right here. You can go and do it manually. But this is 2026. I'm not even going to touch on that. But I guess I will. Instant Data Scraper. Okay. So you have Instant Data Scraper. You can do it manually. If you're just wanting to do the dials, get everything pulled up, boom, Instant Data Scraper, you can pull a list. So from here, you're going to have all this raw data. And this data needs to get sent to Supabase. I'm going to teach you guys how I would want to be taught. And this is going to be hard. This is going to be like, what the fuck is Supabase? You're going to be like, what is a database? Can't I just use Google Sheets? And I think I'm just going to make a decision right now that I'm only catering towards developers. So if you're a developer, if you want to get tech savvy, if you want to learn Claude code, this is what this video is going to be about. So you're going to want Supabase. There's other databases out there, but I'm going to talk about Supabase here. And this is where all of your raw data is going to get stored. So this is your source of truth. All right, where's my music? Come on, dog. That's your source of truth in Supabase. So you point at Claude, and there's a few ways to do this. You can have your vibe-coded Google Map scraper. You can have Appify. You can have Outscraper. You get those API keys, and you say, Claude, here's the API keys if we're going to pay $4 per 1,000 leads, or here's my vibe-coded software. Point this vibe-coded software, point these lead scrapers at the Supabase. So how Supabase works is you have a schema, and it's basically a Google sheet that's basically invisible. So I'll pull Supabase up real quick so you guys can see what I'm talking about. If you've never seen Supabase before, this is going to look like what the fuck is going on, but I'm really trying to cater towards developers here. Hopefully I don't open anything crazy. Let's see, Iron ACQ. No, the app is good. So you're going to go in your tables, and you're going to have a table for leads. So here you have your leads table. We have that here. How do I open this up? See, I don't even go in here. Oh, shit. Okay. Let's find leads. I don't even go in here because Claude runs it all. This is but this is what it's actually going to look like. So as you can see here, we have 1.3 million records in here. And this is your database. This is where your source of truth lives. So you have your client ID, like who owns this lead, where's the source, it's our realtor scraper, which is also vibe coded from realtor.com. You have the status, go high level contact ID if it exists. This is your source of truth. First name, last name, email. This should look familiar to you. This is like Google Sheets 101. And you're going to point your Appify, your Outscraper, your Claude code vibe, your vibe coded scraper to this database. So what you're looking at is a Postgres wrapper, exactly. Love to see it in the chat. This is your schema, which is your higher level for your table. And then in that table, you have your normal columns, you have your rows. You should understand this. But it's basically like Google Sheets. It's a big scalable database with auth baked in. So you have your source of truth there. So now you have all these leads in here, and you're like, fuck, what do I do with all this data? I can't even see it. So what you can do, there's a few different methods or a few different options you have. This data is still messy. Some of them have a phone number. Some of them have an email. And what you're really looking at here is like, okay, now what? I have all this data, and there's going to be a few things you want to do to clean it up. You're going to want to then, from raw data, you're going to point your Claude, and you're going to run dedup.py. What this is a deduplication script to look at the phone number and the email of every lead you just pulled in. And this isn't going to be the last time. It may be the last time you run deduplication, but as a standard practice, you want to deduplicate all the way down, because what's next, you can think about, I'll just keep this as the first step. So this is step one. This is step two. You deduplicate off of the phone number and you deduplicate off of the email. From there, what you're going to want to do is, what the fuck just closed? Okay. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to do some kind of email discovery if you're doing cold email, but you want to have email even if you're doing SMS. You want to email disco plus gen enrichment. So what this is I'm sure you're familiar with things like ICPs. So you can get this through ICPs. There's a bunch of other enrichment platforms that you can get. And you're just on the scrape. So a lot of stuff happens at the scrape level. If you're doing this on things like Appify, Outscraper, Claude Code, your agent can be set up to, if they have a domain, pull their site, and then you can go on their site, find the phone number, find the email. So you're doing a lot of this at the scrape level, but that's in the built-in Appify and the Claude Code. Sometimes, depending on how you have your vibe coded set up, you're going to want to do that enrichment to get the phone number, to get the emails, to go to the about page, find the founder name. You're going to be looking at about a 10% founder name rate on local business from what we found. Or you can vibe code it. So it's going to be a common trend that you see. You can vibe code your enrichment. What does that actually look like? And pay attention real quick, because this is going to be a game changer for you. What the vibe coded software is going to look like is going to be reach your email, reach.email. This is open source, and this is going to play into later when we go into the verification step. But how you could set up a vibe coded software with reach your email is that you take a lot of the possibilities from the domain of their website. So some of these sites are going to be, you know, example. Let's see if we can do text here. It's going to be, oh shit. Okay. We'll write it out. It's going to be example.com. And so what you could do with your vibe coded software is do an asynchronous script to have Python go through and use your free email verification tool. So Million Verifier completely out of the window if you know how to self-host things on a virtual private server, if you know how to use Claude Code. And that's a gazillion dollars saved, because you guys know how much these email verification tools are. So you're going to take example.com and you're going to put info at example.com. You're going to put hello at example.com. You're going to put maybe not. You could put support. You get the idea. You're going to put the common prefixes, and Claude knows these better than I do. And then you're going to go and try to get a handshake with info@domain.com. And you're just going to see the handshake that you can get. You're looking at 40% of your entire list getting extra emails from this. So this is a step that you cannot skip. I repeat, you cannot skip this step. Whether you do that with ICPs, which is going to cost you an arm and a leg at scale, this would have costed over $10,000. I did it for almost free for our agency. Consider it free for 1.6 million leads. I want you guys to understand this. There's always a vibe coded solution. This is literally free. This, thousands of dollars. $1,000, this free, right? So now your list is looking more plump. You have the list, and now you have a lot more emails than you had before, because it's called dorking. You're trying to get a handshake with the mail server. So now, okay, we're building out the list. We already have all the phone numbers, just because Google Business, they give that up front, because obviously they want you to call them, not email them on the front end. So our list is looking more plump now. We have emails, we have phone number, we have company name on the scrape level. Everything is nice and peachy. What we're gonna wanna do here for our cold SMS foundation is we're gonna want to verify the emails. Not verify the emails. We are gonna want to verify the emails and SMS. Maybe before that, actually. No, we're not gonna want to do that yet. Shit. We're gonna want to, so I'll actually get this updated in the description for how the actual flow should look, but we'll keep going through. You're going to want to do an ICP verification. Yeah, you're going to do an ICP verification before. And there are a few different ways to do this. What I recommend is Lama, which is a local model. You go row by row through your Supabase, and you have this agent say, okay, and you can also do an HTML pull from their actual domain and website. And you can say, okay, from this business data, is this actually a landscaper? So you can scrape like 400 characters of their website, and this can all be done on the scrape level. This can be done at the ICP level. It really doesn't matter. There's a million different ways to do this. You're gonna take an Lama, or you're gonna take a free Gemini or Azure 4.1, GPT 4.1 key, and you're gonna paginate. So you're gonna take either one of these models, you're gonna paginate every row, and you're going to say, is this my ICP? This is gonna help save you on SMS verification costs, because you're not gonna be spending money on leads that aren't even the people you're wanting to reach. This is gonna increase your reply rate. It's gonna increase all of your metrics just upstream, because you did your due diligence and your list is clean as shit. So don't skip this phase. You're going to want to have the ICP verification. And this is why AI has just been so crazy for cold outbound, because you're able to do this step. And this is what replaced Clay for me. I actually have a whole video on the channel of Clay is dead, because we used to be able to go through Google Sheets, and we used to run this shit through N8N, and we used to run these models and do the ICP verification, which Clay was actually so good for. But now you don't need to do that. And you can get these free API keys. There's a lot of different ways. Just look it up on YouTube. But next, now that we know we have exactly who we want to target, you know, we have as much of the data availability as possible on the email discovery. We have all their phone numbers. We have these businesses. They're actually who we want them to be. You are now going to want to verify their phone and their email. So email, like I said before, if you're not tech savvy, you're forced to use Million Verifier. You're forced to use Million Verifier. For phone, there's no vibe coded solution to my knowledge. I did a lot of research on this. And you're looking at like something like Clear Out Phone. That's what people mainly use. I'm actually gonna, this is old news. You're looking at Verifone. I think that's what it's called. Let me yeah, you're looking at Verifone, which is sauce, by the way. Verifone for SMS. You still use this. We still use this. But you don't have to do this anymore. Claude, you can spin up a server and then hit that shit with reach your email, the same thing you did your dorking with. And now you have a free email verifier that can go through that entire list from your Supabase table. So now you have all the verified emails. So if you're doing a cold email campaign, you know that this email exists. It's going to protect your bounce rates. Like, you just cannot do cold email without doing this step. This is unskippable. But now you can do it for free with some energy and a virtual private server. So next, and this is what most people skip. So don't skip this if you're most people. You're going to want to segment your list. And this is sauce, boys. Pay attention. Segment list. There's multiple different ways you can segment your list. And this is how we segment our list. So first, do they have a website? Website exists. And this is a true or false. So this is Boolean. This is Boolean. So if a website exists, this means the business is established. This is, if you're selling your conversation AI agent, if you're selling a voice agent, this is going to be a super rich segmentation angle, because you're going to know that at least these guys have a clue of what they're doing. Also, in your segmentation list, which also comes, it can come through here in the enrichment step. So in your enrichment, general enrichment, I should have added, I'll add it right here, tech stack, which is right here, Wapalizer. You can see what their tech stack is. So you can see if they have a metapixel, not necessarily a metapixel. You can see if they're using Go High Level. You can see if they're using WordPress. This is all data you can segment off of and actually plug into your copy. There's a lot of ways to get creative on this. But you're like, if a website exists, for Google example, if they have a weighted average of over 4.2 reviews, if they're greater than that, then that's a different segment. That tells a different story. If they have over 20 reviews, period. So if you wanted to sell your conversation agent, you're going to want to only target businesses that have a website, that have good reviews, and that have a lot of reviews. Because these are guys that are already established, and their constraint is not going to be lead generation. If you're trying to sell lead generation, you want guys maybe with a website, with a bad website, if they're not using WordPress, that could be your little angle. I saw you're not using WordPress. We do lead generation. We can also help you out with SEO on your site, because these are all different angles and different technology that you guys can reference. You know that they're not that established. They don't have over 20 reviews on their Google business profile. And then, depending on your offer, you can segment the list. Now, I'm not going to go into everything that you can do with list segmentation. You have to get creative on this. You have to be good. You have to know your angle. You have to know what your product and offer is. But this, you can't skip this. You can't skip this. And you can tag it S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier. and then you want to prioritize these two first, because this is going to be your ICP. This is your Dream 100. You could pull revenue from these guys, and you'll have more ammo to market to these guys. So you have to think about things in levels and layers. From the segmented list, you're really looking good from here. This is really the 5-step that you want to get down. And from here, you're just looking at push to instantly, or you're looking to push to your SMS engine. So you push it to these two. You could also save it to a CSV. And that's really what you're looking at. And then here, you're looking at inf money, inf leads. So that is our entire lead generation pipeline, explained how we used to do it and how we do it in the age of Claude. I hope I didn't leave anything out of this. If I did, it'll be in the description of this video. And it's also in the school community. All this is going to be in the school community for the, I hope I didn't miss anything out in the school community, but this is basically it. This is how we run our entire lead generation pipeline and how we cut costs without sacrificing quality. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and join the school community. There's all this sauce and more in the school community, especially in the free group. So hope you enjoyed it. All right, boys. How do we do? How do we do? Hopefully that was insightful for our lead gen. This is all you need for cold outbound. I need this transcript when you were posting this. Appreciate you, dog. It'll be posted. It'll be posted. But that's our cold outbound system. Like, there's literally nothing hidden from this except for this little moat here, which is going to tie into our SaaS later this year. Accept me in the school. Damn, bro, you're not in the school? How are you not in the school? Dude, something messed up with my cookies. Something messed up with my cookies. Why am I not logged in? Eric, welcome in the community. Mohammed, welcome in the community. Ignas, welcome in the community. What's good, boys? What's good? What's good? Okay, that's lead gen. We got the whole business as a pipeline. Yo, this gave me a lot of ideas to bring to my company. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. This is only the marketing side. This is only this. This is only this. And this is only one piece of that. Now the tech, the SMS engine, all of the SaaS that comes into play in the repos, like, this is what the Iron Vault is for. So shameless plug to the Iron Vault and the cohort we have coming up. I literally walk you through, and as soon as you get into the cohort, you get all the 9 repos that touch all of this. You get this moat right here. This moat to get $20 for 1.6 million leads. The whole Google Map scraper is in the repo of the cohort, and that's only one part of it. If I literally sat here and just said what's in the repos is insane. It's insane. And this is only the marketing